So many questions of the legality of the Trump administration's actions in Venezuela in the case against Maduro.
Let's bring in legal expert Rich Schoenstein for more analysis and context. Thank you so much for speaking with us. And now that Maduro has been officially charged, what comes next in this case?
Well, this case is going to proceed like any other criminal prosecution. That's my big takeaway from the proceeding this morning. They waived speedy trial. They waived reading of the indictment. They pled not guilty. And now the next stage of this case is going to be the defendants wanting the evidence that the government has against them so they can begin to prepare for trial. You may see some other things. They didn't make a bail application at this morning's proceeding, but they reserve the right to do so in the future. I don't know if they will. I don't know if they'll seek dismissal of the indictments based on various arguments they may make concerning their international status or potential deficiencies in the indictment. They could make motions. But you're going to move into the motions and discovery phase of this prosecution.
Rich, what do prosecutors need to prove to get a conviction?
Well, think of this case, this is a conspiracy case against people who allegedly are on the top of a very broad, very vast conspiracy to pump drugs into the United States, both to sell drugs and to do harm in the United States. And they're really going to need to prove that those high-ranking government officials were involved in and responsible for those activities. And as you know from a lot of cases you cover, it's really hard to get the people at the top.
Legal expert Richard Schoenstein, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Maduro's capture has been met with strong reactions from Venezuelans, some happy that he's been arrested, others angry with the United States' actions.
Masa Saeed has been live in Lower Manhattan speaking with people on both sides. Masa.
Hi there, Mary Cindy. So after I spoke with you about 20 minutes ago, I've been walking around, taking a look at the crowd. It appears to have grown. As you said, there are dueling protests that are happening. You might be able to hear people singing, chanting, lots of signs, people that are happy about the capture of Nicolás Maduro and people that are upset about it. As I said, we have been speaking with Venezuelans in the crowd, people that believe that the actions of the president is just about taking the oil of Venezuela, and others who are just hopeful for a better future for their country, who tell me they've been forced to flee that country and they're hoping to go back. Now, from our vantage point, this has been largely a peaceful protest. You can see dozens and dozens of uniformed NYPD officers here around the courthouse. Everyone just gathered here in the center. There's a mix of both Venezuelans and Americans here, those, again, who support President Trump's actions and those who are against it. We'll stay out here and keep talking with people and bring you any new information as it happens. For now, this is the very latest in Manhattan. I'm Masa Saeed, CBS News, New York.
All right, Masa, thank you very much. All right, let's go back to federal court now with new information from Allie Bauman. Allie?
Yeah, well, actually, I've been talking to Alice Gaynor since, you last spoke with us. And Alice, you were telling me about some of the medical issues that were brought up in court. Go on on that.
That's right. So we didn't get specific details, but the defense attorney for Nicolás Maduro Moros said that there are health and medical issues that will require some attention. Again, he did not disclose what those issues could be. The attorney for his wife did say that she appeared to have fractured or severe bruising on her ribs, potentially stemming from when she was taken into custody. So the attorneys were asking, is there some sort of form we could fill out for medical attention? The judge said, both will receive full medical attention. So we don't specifically know what Maduro's health and medical concerns are, but there are some. And again, it appears his wife may have had some injuries when they were taken into custody over in Venezuela.
Interesting. And no bail application put in, so presumably they're going back to MDC in Brooklyn, where they'll be until...
And there could be a bail application in the future. Again, his private attorneys, they were just retained and filed a notice of appearance today. He previously, I think, had been assigned some attorneys, but now they've got these private attorneys, so they just essentially took on these clients. They've got to go through everything. So we do anticipate in the future there will be a bail application. Whether or not that would ever be granted, flight risk concerns and whatnot, we'll have to wait and see.
And that could be put in before their next court date in March?
Yeah, so the next court date is not until March 17th. The judge asked if they could set up a motion schedule, and the defense said there's a lot to go through with this case, so we just don't think that's appropriate at this time. Prosecutors agreed, yes, they need the time to go through everything, so they did waive the speedy trial time as well. So March 17th will be essentially, I guess, a status update for this case, and that's when we would see them next in the courtroom.
And I imagine a bail application then would bring up a whole other litany of issues.
Right, of course, there's a lot of legal issues here at play, and I just want to note, I know Masa is showing you some of the demonstrators. It is packed outside this federal courthouse. Unfortunately, our camera can't exactly pan around, but we've got demonstrators outside of the courthouse here. There is order being kept. You know, you've got the NYPD here, and I pointed out before, as I was leaving the courthouse, a lot of DEA agents were in the lobby of that courthouse, more than I've ever seen before. So that's the one thing that stands out when you think of the high-profile cases we've covered here at the courthouse. Just so many DEA agents, because again, this is a case that involves weapons and drug charges.
Yes, this courthouse has seen a lot of high-profile cases recently, especially in the past year even, and this is another one that is drawing out large crowds, large police presence here.
Cindy?
All right, Alice and Allie, thank you very much.
We're continuing to following this breaking news for you as we await this transport to a helipad. This is off the FDR that will bring Nicolás Maduro and his wife back to the Brooklyn Detention Center. We are watching this throughout the morning. Now, we did see him leave court and go into that armored vehicle, and now we are following that transport and waiting for them to head to the helipad. Again, the former Venezuelan president, Nicolás Maduro, and his wife pleading not guilty today to federal drug trafficking and weapons charges. At the prison where they will be going is Lisa Rosner. And what do we know, Lisa?
Hi, Cindy and Mary. Well, right now we are waiting for Maduro and his wife to arrive at the Metropolitan Detention Center. As you said, they were taken away from court in an armored vehicle, and we're not sure if we're going to see that armored vehicle at this specific entrance. Now, I don't know how much of the jail you can see behind me because this is a major road. There's a truck behind us at the moment waiting at a light. But we do know that when they were taken away from this facility this morning, it was not through this entrance. It was through a different entrance that is not typically accessible to the public. Right now, here at the Metropolitan Detention Center, things are pretty quiet. Yesterday, I was here covering the story last night. There were some expatriates who were here, similar to what you see outside the courthouse today, people rallying with different emotions. Right now, it is quiet, and we are waiting for Maduro and his wife to be brought back here to the jail. We do know that sources have told CBS News that at least up until this court hearing, him and his wife were being held at the top floors of the detention center. We know that this is a notorious jail facility that some defense attorneys have said is known for pretty bad conditions, where they have been telling us that the jail tends to keep the temperature very cold. The food is not consumable. That's what we've been hearing from defense attorneys that have had defendants held here before. So right now, as you can see behind me, there has been, just in the last few minutes, an increased police presence. We are waiting to see when Maduro and his wife will arrive, and we'll bring that reporting to you as soon as it happens.
All right, Lisa Rosner, thank you. Chopper 2 is tracking the convoy's movements. Let's get out to Dan Rice. And Dan, what are you seeing now?
So we're coming back up the west side right now. The original plan, from what we were told, was that the motorcade would go to the Wall Street downtown heliport, and they would use the helicopters to fly back to Brooklyn, but it appears that the motorcade went under the Battery Park underpass. At this point, it is not quite clear where the motorcade has gone. It looks like they could be driving through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. They could be going to the west side. So we're going to just search around the west side of Manhattan to see if we pick up the motorcade anywhere. But at this point, it's not clear which path they're going to take to bring the Maduros back to the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Well, we know you'll be following it for us. Dan, thanks so much.